Hey, friend, welcome back to another episode of Ash to Dusk. This is our midweek moment. So, this is just where I kind of pause in my day to just say hello, a little motivational boost, talk about the real things that are happening in life, and hopefully to encourage you. This is our second FaceTime one. So, I'm trying something different. My initial thought was that every Sunday I would record an episode with the studio, which you can see behind me, like in my chair with the Shure mic, and it's all professional kind of looking. But and then I would have audio only on Wednesdays, and this would be a way for me to stay consistent. But I realized how much you guys like to watch the podcast clips. And so I thought, okay, I think I can manage doing more like this throughout the week if I can do it more of a like a FaceTime style versus it being all like a big process to get it up and going. So, with all that to be said, thanks so much for being here. It has been, I feel like, a busy week where Thanksgiving is just right around the corner. And our sweet Lou, our little dog, if you follow on social media, he has had seizures for a couple of years now, and they've been kind of random. Maybe every couple months he will have one and then he's fine. But yesterday he had 2 vaccines and I've been so busy, so he hasn't had a lot of me time, and he has so much social anxiety without me. But he had 2 vaccines, and just a couple hours later, he had a seizure, but the seizure was like he wasn't coming out of it. So we ended up taking him to the ER, and then they kept him overnight, and he's still there. So our whole household is kind of out of sorts without Louis in here because he's just a ball of energy. And even me and Mike couldn't sleep last night. It's just that we kept tossing and turning because it just felt weird that he wasn't in bed with us. But yeah, it's been busy at Project School Nutrition, making sure all of our schools are taken care of. That way, we're implementing some new behind the scene like processes and procedures, which are just making us even better. But anytime you have change, comes a little bit of stress and just uncertainty. And so we've been kind of navigating that. And then getting ready for the holidays, getting ready for Thanksgiving, like many of you are. My favorite thing to eat during Thanksgiving is the stuffing, like the dressing or the stuffing. It's actually one of my favorite parts of a Thanksgiving meal. But speaking of Thanksgiving, I thought today could just be a quick reminder about gratitude because we are going into the season of Thanksgiving. And I think oftentimes we do forget maybe the meaning behind Thanksgiving and being grateful. And it's so much more than the turkey and having days off from work. Um, but I just recorded an episode and it talked about goal setting. And one of them is we also talked about gratitude. And gratitude is a way for you to reconnect what's happening in the present right now in this moment. And it helps you get grounded again. I struggle with this as a visionary. So I'm always thinking about the future and new things that I want to do and that are up and coming. But I've always kind of struggled with coming back to what's happening right now in the moment. And one of the best things that I have been able to do to help me with that is to practice gratitude. And I write down or I speak it out loud, one or the other, every single day in the morning before I go to bed. What are a few things that I am grateful for that have happened within the last 24 hours? And this keeps me focused on all the good things that are happening, even when I'm going through a busy time or a stressful time. So you may be feeling the stress of the holiday season coming up. Maybe it's because you've been laid off or you're not getting the hours at work like you used to. Everything's so expensive. So, how are you going to buy these gifts for the kids? I know as my kids are getting older, everything else gets more expensive. I feel like every time I go to the grocery store, you guys, it's just, I can't believe how much we pay for groceries. And I often find myself in gratitude for the fact that, you know, if this were my situation 10 years ago, I don't know how I would be able to make it through. And so although I do feel the tightness in our wallet right now for sure, like the inflation and all the costs, everything is definitely, we feel that. I also feel very blessed and fortunate that it's not affecting us in the way that it could have many years ago. And so if that is you right now, I'm thinking of you, and I know that that doesn't, oh, hey, June. I know that that doesn't help you pay the bills and put food on the table and buy the presents. I know that. But even just my hope is that by creating this space, it gives you an outlet, a place to go, to be heard, to be seen, and to realize that you are not alone and that this too shall pass. I love that quote and that saying, but I think that that is true for the good things and the things that are a struggle, right? So when we're going through a hard time in life, this too shall pass. Good times are going to come. But also when we're going through the really good times, those too will pass. And that doesn't mean that hard times are going to come again. And I'm very aware of that. And so I'm just in this Thanksgiving spirit this year, I am just extra grateful for the freedom that I have to spend more time with my kiddos and to do the work that I absolutely love. It doesn't feel like work because I love it so much. I'm grateful for my team that helps carry the mission forward and is a part of everything that we do. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you for believing in the work that I'm doing, for hanging around with me, for listening to the podcast, for sharing it to a friend or a family member who could use it. I just cannot thank you enough. And so, as you are entering into this, hopefully you get an extended weekend. Hopefully you get a little bit of time off of work. And if not, but that you're finding some sort of time for yourself. Maybe it's 30 minutes a day. I know you can find 30 minutes a day for yourself to either read, go for a walk, drink coffee if that's what you like, or tea. Just find a cozy corner in your home where you can just be for a moment and breathe and reconnect with that breath and remember that everything is okay. This too shall pass. Remember the things to be grateful for because that will keep you rooted right now. But also think of the possibilities. Think of what could be next year. What could be uh, achievable. Like what can you dream up and reach? And achieve. You can do it. You just have to believe. And I think to reconnect with that, we have to have a moment of solitude, quiet, and stillness to reconnect with our why and our passion. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I do have an episode coming out on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But until I see you next time, keep your light burning from ash to dust.